Hi everybody, I'm Ed Collins. I'm going to talk to you today about a law that was introduced in China where I'm currently working. Back in January 2020, on the 7th of January, the Ministry of Education issued a regulation where they banned any primary or junior high school from using overseas textbooks in class. So when it came to teaching middle school students, I have been tasked with teaching the subject called Global Perspectives, which is a Cambridge-based course. So when I came to teach it and was ready to plan my classes, I was told by my boss, we can't use anything in a book and everything is online. So I had to research and basically build a curriculum in order to teach that to my middle school students. So even though they banned the use of the textbook, they haven't forbidden the idea of introducing those ideas in class. So the impact of that means that in my day-to-day preparation and teaching, I have to find the time, the extra time now where I actually prepare those classes and find all that data and all the content to teach with absolutely no structure whatsoever given to me by my boss or by my department. It would have been a lot easier and more streamlined if I was given a guideline and a curriculum and a course to follow to teach global perspectives. So that just means that I've got a lot more work in my day-to-day preparation. So this law that was introduced in January 2020 is kind of a follow-on from a historical law that was introduced by Xi Jinping when he assumed power back in 2012. And when we think about the history of this law that's been introduced, even in March the 18th, 2015, there was an investigation launched by Beijing. When I say Beijing, I mean the Chinese government. And they were investigating the use of imported textbooks in the universities. And the idea there was to try to reduce any sort of Western influences that were coming into China and anything that may undermine the Chinese Communist Party. So this means now that the current books available for kids, such as George Orwell's Animal Farm or 1984, any books that are covering the subjects of authoritarianism or even any other publications about Christianity or Buddhism, are now no longer taught directly in school. So the strength of that decision, which started back in March 18th, 2015, to rid libraries of older books promoting Western values, and then the prohibition of any foreign publications in 2020, that law came in on the 7th of January. The strength of that means that China now can push forward with imposing more of a nationalistic agenda, celebrating more Chinese values. That's the strength. The weakness of that, however, is that students now in middle schools are so technologically savvy anyway that if they do want to find out information about what's going on in the West, they can access that using any sort of virtual private networks that they are subscribing to and using. So the weakness is that the savvy kids will find out any information about Western values anyway. So the law is flawed to some degree. So how that law and policy has affected the day-to-day operations in the school, it means that the kids don't have a book to refer to, so they can't take any notes. Some of the department heads have no idea what books to use for their kids, so there's no coordination, and in turn that means that the morale within the foreign departments often isn't as high as it could be, and all the foreign teachers are struggling to find what best solutions should be introduced into our departments to make sure that the kids have a balanced education.